recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at ZEDGamesAU.
Skibbity toilet, my friends!
That was beautiful.
Are we mewing?
I don't know that one. Oh, well, no, I do know that one, and we're not mewing. Mew. This is Z Games. I'm your host, Paul, tonight, and joining me are my good friends, Zahra.
Hello.
And Caroline.
Hello.
And my good friends, have you been having a lovely week?
I have been having a lovely week. The weather's been quite nice. I've been playing games. I had some snacks at some point this week. It's been great. It's been great. How about you two?
It's been adequate.
Adequate?
I'm still alive.
You are still alive. That's a great start.
Yep.
We love that.
It's pretty
The
good.
void has not taken me yet.
Not yet.
Uh-huh.
And we'll continue to defend you against the void.
Thank you.
How
I
about you,
appreciate
Paul?
it.
Any battles with the void?
The void has actually been sort of moved on a little bit at the moment. I've just been so busy with, life and getting ready for PAX Australia.
That's right. You're heading down next week.
We'll be heading down next week, and we'll have a little more details about that later because you can check out some of us down there. But for now, we're going to listen to a little bit of video game news this week, brought to us by the lovely Maylee.
Maylee.
Are there any PlayStation fans out there who had a bit of trouble getting online yesterday? Well, you're not alone. The PlayStation Network suffered a major global outage that caused problems on both the PS4 and PS5. The outage lasted for around 8 hours and meant players couldn't sign in, play multiplayer games, load videos, or play any single-player games with online requirements. Sony hasn't said much about what caused the problem in the first place, and if their track record is anything to go by, they probably won't. But at the time of writing this, things at least seem to be running normally again. Pictures of the upcoming Sims game, Project Renee, have been leaked from its playtest, and fans are not happy. This comes only weeks after EA announced that Project Renee is not, as most people assumed, The Sims 5, and they aren't planning Sims 5 at all. At the time, EA assured players that they would be taking the series beyond linear sequential releases and offer more options for players than ever before. Unfortunately, to a lot of players, these pictures from the upcoming Project Renee suggest a bland, basic, and possibly microtransaction-fueled mobile gaming experience, which is not what anyone asked for. But as always with leaked details, we can't know that anything's legit until official stuff comes out, so stay tuned. On the 1st of October, Devolver Digital announced the launch of a new publishing label under its belt, Big Fan. This new branch will focus on working with indie creators who want to make games with popular IPs, as well as the people who own those IPs and want a game made. This isn't about making a marketing tie-in game for other media, it's about creating fun and inventive games that stand on their own. In Devolver's words, we believe and have seen firsthand that great games that propel existing franchises can offer a connection with a fan that only an interactive experience can offer. Independent games created in these universes can explore them in new and unexpected ways, and it's our goal to raise the bar of what fans can expect. Finally, we have some upcoming game releases. On October 4th, SpongeBob SquarePants: The Patrick Star Game is coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, the Switch, and PC, whereas Until Dawn is just coming to PS5 and PC. Later on in the week, on October 4th, it's a big day for game releases, which will see turn-based tactic game Dead Season release on the PC. Diablo 4's Vessel of Hatred DLC will release on all platforms. The remake of Silent Hill 2 is coming to PC and the PS5. And if you bought the Ultimate Edition, Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero will release on PC, PS5, and Xbox. And that's all this week in gaming news.
Thank you for that, Maylee, if that is your real name. And I've never checked, actually. I just say what you tell me. Anyway, that was some news. A few things there this week. I was particularly interested in the new Devolver spin-off
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of partners already, including big names like Disney.
Disney.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah. I think they invented the Star War. Yeah.
That's where I heard it from. Okay, I thought I rang a bell.
Yeah. So really, it's just if small creators say we want to make a license, go to them and they have the hookups to do it. Because if you email Disney and say I'd like to make a Star War, they don't get back to you.
No, they're like they don't even look at that email. They just chuck that straight into the bin.
They send someone to your house to break your knees.
Yeah.
No, that's when you actually try to make a Star War without their permission, and then they break your knees.
Yeah, well, we might finally be able to get that Tailspin game we've all been waiting for, or something else.
But big fan.
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, we'll see. And hopefully, we'll hear some things coming out of that soon.
Caroline, are you a Sims?
Are you a sim? Are you a simulation?
I am in the simulation. I used to be, and then Sims 3 came out. Oh no, I have all of the CDs for the first 2 games, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then 3 came out, and I was like, I've already bought so many Sims things. I cannot.
It do be like, kind of like your first 10 million microtransactions. One of my sisters was obsessed with Sims. Sims 3 had all of them. Sims 4 had nearly all of it. Stopped like collecting the expansions like 2 years ago, and there's still like 100 more out there.
I still have my first laptop that I got with all of the Sims ones still installed, and all of the custom content that I think
all those blur removals and
the good stuff.
You needed that.
No, that was I got for Sims 3. Sims 1 was just Naruto posters and other stuff that I think crashed the game every time.
First Sims came out probably when I was like 13, 14. So it was really just me play acting relationships I wish I had.
Yeah. I loved building houses. I mean, like, this is where this is my room, and this is my sister's room, and that's mum's room. And
why is the toilet on fire?
I just liked killing all of the Sims.
I mean, that is a very popular pastime.
And Caroline, you are a well-known sociopath. So.
And then I made 2 boys kiss, and I was like, oh, this is possible?
Oh, it's always been possible.
So thanks to Sims for teaching me about queer love in growing up in a heavily Christian household.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
That is.
We owe a lot
beautiful.
to Sims.
We do.
And I hope that the Sims community are able to find happiness.
Find peace.
Peace. Let's
because even that alternate Sims one, I can't remember even what it's called now. That it just got it was like delayed a few times, and it was going to come out in beta, and then it was just cancelled.
I love those Sims spin-off games. Just like
the only online game I've ever bought a currency for was Sims Online in Facebook, and I think I probably spent $4 on it.
Incredible.
$4
But I'm pretty rich.
Wow.
Pretty rich.
Do you still have that?
No, the game doesn't exist anymore. No. Facebook's changed.
It really has.
It's changed, man.
It's not the same.
It's changed.
It's not the same. Where's my Farmville? Where's my Farmville?
Yeah, I miss Farmville.
Well,
we can move on.
Yeah. Let's move on. We're going to listen to some music now.
Fortitude Valley's Netherworld presents Lost Souls Karaoke. Sing for your soul in one of 5 private air-conditioned karaoke realms newly unearthed within the bar, arcade and diner. Book a room and put your soul on the line from Tuesday to Sunday via lostsoulskaraoke.com. Netherworld and Lost Souls Karaoke are proud sponsors of 4ZZZ.
This is Yet Games. I am Yet Games. Yeah, I'm going to try that again. This is Yet Games. I'm Paul.
Paul.
With me is Caroline and Zahra.
Zahra.
And right now we're going to do one of our favorite things, and that thing is a review. Well, we've all got 2 wolves inside us. So, you walking along a wooded a deeply wooded area, and then in the distance you see a tower. A great tower. Why is it there? And you enter the tower, and as you enter it, you fall down into a grave, a mass grave of bones.
Oh no!
And then you escape and make your way up the tower. That's right. This is Pinball Spire, a pinball game where you are a ball. So this is quite hot off the presses.
How hot off the press?
Yeah.
How many presses is it hot off?
Just the one press contact who did send me a key, but it was a key that didn't activate until the game was released, which was this morning. So I knew I wanted to talk about this game because I played the demo and really enjoyed it. And I was like, I'm in. I'm going to just force my way through. I bet I can do it, and I did. So yes, Pinball Spire is a pinball game, and they call it a Pinballvania, going into that Metroidvania style. And that is a little bit incorrect to say because it does not have the needing to backtrack and everything that you would normally do in a Metroidvania. But so what we have here is a pinball game that you're exploring a great tower, a great spire. Now, unlike other games like your Sonic Spinball or your Yoku's Island Express, this game is purely pinball. You will never roll the ball yourself. In this world, I guess everything's just a gentle slope all the time. Otherwise, no one's moving anywhere. So it's pure pinball mechanics. You have your flippers, 2D, and it's just really the whole spire is just one big board. You move from screen to screen, but it's navigating that way. This game shows itself as clever and thoughtful very, very quickly. The first thing that it tells you as you enter the world is to just click in the left stick. And when you do that, the game pauses and you get a little cursor. And that cursor lets you just mouse over anything and get an explanation.
Oh, nice.
Because one of the things about pinball tables is that they somehow have quite archaic rules and things that are going on, and they're going to bring in more video game things than you could physically do on a pinball table. So if you don't really know what something does, you can just pause and have a look at it. Then you start getting powers. The first power is a slowdown. And that slowdown, when you're on a paddle, will also give you a angle of attack that you'll be coming at. So very quickly in the game, you can become very accurate, which for pinball takes away a lot of frustration for people that are not particularly comfortable with it, but also does allow them to demand some more accuracy as you go further in the game. You then continue on and you get a couple more powers in the game, but just to sort of give you the sort of idea of this, you will enter a board that is almost entirely dark, but you've just gained a power that allows you to set yourself on fire. Now, all these powers have mana, and you get mana by killing enemies, and kill enemies by bumping into them. Yeah. As you hit the fire, it lights up the area around you. And there are braziers around. So you aim for the braziers, hit them, turn on your fire, light them up. And so that's a really base level of the complexity of what they are adding to these tables.
I see.
And it pretty much to the end of the game kept giving me new ideas. Kind of one of my small criticisms is that it actually didn't keep exploiting the same ideas. Some of them were like, I got this thing, I'm like, oh cool, I can't wait to do a table with a bunch of these. It's going to be really complex, and they just didn't. Because it is, as you may have guessed of me playing through it today, not a long game. It actually was longer than I thought it was going to be because the way you were given unlockables, so you get costumes for your ball. Ooh. So I spent most of the game with a monocle and a top hat because,
Yeah, of course. Because you're a dashing fellow.
You're a classy ball.
Yeah.
That's right. That's one thing people describe my balls as. It's classy. But yeah, it was a satisfying adventure, but it's a small adventure, and really it feels like the first step of a larger game, like an extended intro. Sort of about 3 to 4 hours will take most people, I assume, to get through. And it's story-wise, because there is a story.
There's a story.
Bold story.
Not much of a story, basically just the intro and then the outro. But it does lend itself for more to come. So my hope of this is that this is a good game, this is a solid game, this is a game I really enjoyed playing, but I want more. So if this can get enough traction because it's primarily a solo dev, it even starts with that, despite the fact the credits have a lot more than one person in it, but I guess they wanted the rap for it. I would love to see more of this world, these things exploited more, because it really was fun and interesting and kept giving me sort of at one point you're moving backwards through the way that you would normally navigate a table, and you're just like, oh, well, how will I actually do that? Because it's not like ramps aren't made to. Yeah, so
I'm looking at Paul in like a quizzical manner.
yeah,
It's kind of like
you'll see. Like I don't want to explain anything about it. But yeah, it keeps fresh ideas the whole time. You do still have some frustration with you fall down a table and you'll fall down to the next level and then I missed it and fell down. Oh no, I'm back 5 tables. But you kind of can get back up really quickly. It's relatively generous, and it does have some pretty good observational tricky puzzles, and you get to dress up your little ball, and the finale is actually awesome. It's like yes, go little ball, go. You're gonna anyway.
go.
Yeah. So Pinball Spire is currently only available on PC, on Steam. But yes, it's I think it's around Australian dollars. I know the US price. I think $20. I imagine
It is on. It's got a 10% sale at the moment.
Yeah.
But normally it is $21.95.
Yeah. As I say, really solid game. It's not going to hit your Game of the Year list, but I really enjoyed it. And I really like to encourage the developer because I want more of this.
I think it'd be cool if you could like design your own pinball levels.
Yeah, it's something to have like community, like as I say, things that allow people to exploit those mechanics with a little bit more. Because I can see why they don't. Because pinball already has that level of randomness, which can become frustrating. So if you make a really, really difficult table that, you're setting things up and you got, oh no, now I've hit a button again and it set everything back, people would pull their hair out. But if people go into that willingly, well, that's their choice.
That's their choice to go through hell.
That's their choice to go through hell. We're going to hell in a handbasket up the Pinball Spire. Woo! Woo! Anyway, this is Ed Games. I'm your host, Paul, and join me, Zahra and Caroline. And now, Zahra has a review for us. And I'm not going to play the music because you don't have headphones on because you can't sing to it properly.
No, it's very like out of tune.
Here we go! I'm not playing it, but I'm doing it anyway!
Review!
Okay, what will you be reviewing for us now, Zahra?
Pikmin Bloom.
I love a Pikmin game, but I hate an AR game. So tell me.
All right, you've heard of Pokemon Go?
No.
You two play along.
Yes.
Don't be.
Don't be turds.
Monster Hunter Now.
Yeah.
You two.
Well, yeah.
I know
I've played
you've
both
played
of
it.
them.
You played the both of them right next to me.
They're the reason why my phone's battery life is
and I think it's safe to say we all have issues with those types of games. Like for me, a lot of the gameplay, they're walking games, but a lot of the gameplay requires you to not walk for like the battles, especially in Monster Hunter Now. It was really, really frustrating. It was a bit more bearable in Pokemon Go because the battles were a bit easier and quicker to play, and in Monster Hunter Now, it just felt like playing a worse version of Monster Hunter. Like I might as well have just brought my 3DS.
Yeah.
Pikmin Bloom is a newer addition to the Niantic family, and it's pretty simple. Walk to sprout Pikmins, walk to plant flowers, and walk to make memories. You have some seedlings you can keep in a special backpack that hosts some planters for cultivating seedlings. Each seedling requires varying numbers of steps, like 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, so on. Once a Pikmin has sprouted, you can harvest it and add it to your squad. Pikmin love nectar, and you can feed your squad different types of nectar. This will cause your Pikmin to bloom a flower on their itty-bitty heads. The flower that blooms depends on the nectar you feed the Pikmin. You can then harvest the flower for petals. Not the Pikmin. The Pikmin are fine. They are not hurt. They love this, which you can then use to plant flowers while you walk.
So, brief aside, in killing Pikmin, can Pikmin die in this?
No.
Because that's one of the things in the normal games where they die and they go, ooh, and the little ghost comes up and it's the saddest thing.
I can't. That would break my heart. I'm so attached to these little guys that if anything, I feel a little scared when I send them out on an expedition that takes longer than like 7 hours. I'm like, we'll get to that.
A dog might eat them.
Yes, these are the things I'm afraid of. But we'll get there. So planting flowers is a bit of a fun mechanic. As you walk and you're planting petals, that grows flowers. And gradually around you, the world becomes more and more lush with flowers sprouting everywhere. And at points of interest, there will be a giant flower blooming. To get those giant flowers to bloom, you need to plant flowers around them. And what flowers what the giant flower blooms as depends on what flowers are planted around it. It's a community effort, and it's really interesting to see how dense the flora gets around shopping centres and parks. You can also see there's also a bit of a fog of war effect on the world map. So you can see where you've been walking around and planting your flowers. And I've recently just sort of had a quick look at where we went on holiday recently, and saw the parts where we had been around, because that's where I was walking and planting flowers.
Oh, cute.
The more Pikmin you cultivate and the more flowers you plant, the more rewards you get. Currently, there is a Halloween event with decor and missions themed accordingly.
Spooky Pikmin?
Yes. Expeditions are the bread and butter of this game. As you walk around, you'll discover seedlings and fruit that can be picked up, and at a time that's convenient to you, you can have a look at what your Pikmin spotted, and then send out Pikmin on an expedition to retrieve the fruit, or battle a mushroom. The further away from the expedition origin point, the longer it'll take for your Pikmin to get there and back. So often I'll send out some expeditions at the start of the day and at the end, so my Pikmin can do their thing while I do mine. Pikmin Bloom doesn't try to make a story for you. It's about walking. And Pikmin. And I love my Pikmin. I haven't actually played a proper Pikmin game, and I'm so charmed by this that Pikmin 4 is now on my wish list.
Yeah, got to play 4.
Got to play 4.
Yeah, 4 is just the smoothest. The first hour is awful. Everything after that is the best game of last year.
And I'm going to get through that after the rest of the game. Each Pikmin is unique, and over time you will build a friendship with them. In time, they will want to go on a unique expedition to their place of origin where you first found them, so they can bring back a gift. I first activated this game in Caboolture. I live on the south side, so my first few Pikmin went on an expedition and a half, taking almost a whole day. I've recently found some Pikmin around where we went on holidays, so their expeditions eventually will be pretty impressive. There's a few other things that I enjoy about this game. Pikmin gifts are in the form of decor that they can wear, so I have a small fleet of Pikmin wearing bus papercraft costumes because I found them at some bus stations. I can also send postcards to friends. It takes a while to get there by Pikmin post, but it is something I genuinely enjoy and look forward to. I send a postcard daily to Toby, he sends one back, and it's nice to be able to send a unique postcard and to get one in return. Toby, if you're listening, in about a week you're going to get a fun little postcard. The usual complaints are valid. Tracking isn't always the best. It drains my phone battery like crazy, but less so since it can run mostly in the background. And some of the missions is a serious grind. I had a mission last month to get 1,000 of an item. To get one of those items, you need to plant 100 flowers. Oof. It's a lot of flowers to plant. But if you're intrigued, my Pikmin Bloom invite code is KGCVXQCLX.
Now pronounce it. You write that down, everyone.
But yeah, no, it's just a cute little game, and I like that you can actually put your phone in your pocket and put it at the back of your mind and then actually do the gameplay stuff.
You know what
later.
actually killed me when I downloaded it?
Oh, what?
I downloaded it, I go, I'll have a look at it. And then I open the app and it's like, oh, downloading data. And I'm like, wait, I gotta leave. And then I said, okay, I'll just leave and do something else. But the app has to be open to download the data. So I just never downloaded the game.
And there you go.
I'm downloading
The end.
it right now.
Speaking...
You got me with that review.
Nice.
You're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Z Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
This is Z Games. I'm Paul. Joining me is Zahra and Caroline. And Zahra has another quick review for us.
That's right. And we're going to hop straight into it. It is called Coral Cove. It's available on Steam. And it's produced by a small group of indie devs, Sandro, Iris, and Johans. So it's a so-called relaxing puzzle game. Whenever I get into this part of the semester, I start to look at small, cheap, or free games that can be dropped or picked up at any time and provide a break from uni. I'm sure many of us are in the same boat currently. I don't really want to work my brain too hard, but I do need to let my brain stretch and move about, so that's why I like puzzles. And Coral Cove is a free-to-play match 3 tile game where the aim is to grow the coral reef out as much as possible before you run out of cards or space. You start off with a few tiles of space and a stack of coral cards. If you have 3 of the same coral together, the tiles are hexagons and matching works in any orientation, these 3 pieces will combine to create a higher level piece of coral. Keep matching to build up each coral, and keep expanding your growth to encourage your cove to expand. There are a few things to keep in mind. 1. Dead coral tiles won't support growth until they're cleared. A level 5 piece of coral will spawn fish who will slowly clear out dead coral nearby. 2. Kelp will sprout, blocking a direction for expansion. You might get a power-up that allows you to clear out some kelp. 3. Where you place the last tile in a combo is where the coral will gather. This is so crucial. Tile placement, planning, and considering what coral piece you need is everything. You need to be strategic. 4. You have missions. Completing missions will give you special power-ups like shuffling your stack of cards, adding more cards, duplicating cards on top, or protecting planted coral from shockwaves. Missions require you to grow the right level coral on the mission tile. So remember my 3rd point. Coral placement is everything. 5. There are shockwaves that'll occur. They'll destroy a random number and assortment of coral pieces, unless they're protected. And they happen, I think, every 30 or 40 turns. And they are an unpleasant surprise. Coral Cove is objectively a very relaxing game.
Until...
For someone else. Not for me. The setting and design is soothing and relaxing. The puzzle mechanic is simple to learn with a lot of room for mastery. The art style is lovely, and it's not like it's timed or anything. You even have an infinite mode, so it's a little bit more zen. You're less confined. You just keep planting coral, and you get more points depending on how much coral you grow in the levels. And the game is over when you run out of cards or space. Restart and try to get a high score next time. I just can't be that strategic in a relaxing manner. But I trust that this is someone else's cup of tea.
And everyone likes some kind of tea.
Everyone likes some kind of tea. They better.
Well, I think that leads us very well into the end of the evening.
Aww.
Thank you for joining me, people in the radio land and people in the studio land.
Oh, thank you for having us tonight, Paul. This was lovely.
Well, you know, I love being everyone's dad.
Yay! That's right, listeners. Paul is your dad.
So, as mentioned earlier in the show, next week is PAX Australia.
That's right.
Starting. Now, you can catch Rani and I on a panel on Saturday morning if you're going down at 10:30 called The Best Worst Games of All Time, Alone in the Dark 2008. And you got to have the 2008 because there's 3 games called Alone in the Dark. And this was the second reboot. It's great. It's like you're in New York. There's lots of fire tech and physics, and there's a lot of driving in a horror game for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a series that I do each year. Maylee will be down there too. They're not on the panel, but we'll drag them along anyway.
Yeah.
So if you see any of us, feel free to take a lock of our hair or a sample of our DNA, whatever you.
Perhaps maybe ask first.
You don't have to ask me. Ask the others. It's fine.
But no, that would be cool. I hope you guys have a lovely time.
It's always a wonderful time. And hopefully this year we'll record it properly. And I will eventually get around to putting it online. So, yeah. So, Saturday morning. Yeah, check me out. And check out Ronnie. And check out my Maylee. But they're not doing it.
Just say hello to Zed Games.
Yeah, just say hello. We're going to have more and more presence down there from now on, I think.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna have a little delegation that gets sent in there to be like, hello,
exactly.
Games.
But there's also another event that weekend, isn't there?
Oh,
Is that the spring weekend?
No.
Was that not that weekend? Because they're the same weekend.
Wasn't it that last week?
Was it already happened, has it? Oh, good. I paid attention. Anyway, everyone forget everything I said. Catch you all next week, everyone, in Z Games Land.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Z Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app
or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.